What is going to change this year for an Amazon seller? Well, I've got some great information I'm going to discuss today about Amazon aggregators and Chinese suppliers that are going to change the landscape this year going into 2021. My name is Stephen Pope. I'm the founder of My Amazon Guy. So the first thing you need to keep in mind is that the Chinese sellers are going to go direct to consumer, and they've been doing it in mass. What this is going to do is put a pinch on your sales prices. If you're selling commodity type items, you are going to have prices be pressed from the left or the Chinese sellers. And on the right hand side, your competition is going up. So specifically Amazon aggregators. They're buying up Amazon brands right now, which have historically been undervalued, and they're investing here. And this is because there's really not a great place to put any money right now. Stock market and other locations are weak, retail is weak, and so they're putting their money where they think they can get the best bang for their buck. Billions of dollars has come into the space in the last year alone. There's stories like Thrasio. They raised $1 billion last year, and just last week they raised another $750 million. There are so many aggregators that I've gone ahead and made a detailed page where I give you all of the information, which is typically pretty on brand for me at My Amazon Guy. I just give all of my information away for free. Nothing is gated. You don't have to be my client to get this intel. A link to this will be in the comment section and the description. On here, I have listed out every single Amazon aggregator. Thrasio, Heyday, Acorn Street, AIM Group, Boosted Commerce, Cap Hill Brands, Centro Brands, D1 Brands, Dragonfly Group, Forum Brands, Inflection Brands, Rainforest, SellerX. The list goes on and on. These are almost all entirely brand new Amazon aggregator companies with billions of dollars investing into the space, and there's so many of them, I literally cannot list them out without boring you. There's so many of them. So what I've done here is I've made this giant list and a little bit of information about what an Amazon aggregator is and why you need to be paying attention to this. So specifically, an Amazon aggregator is somebody who buys Amazon brands. They're FBA acquirers, if you will. I have bought the domain amazonaggregators.com, by the way. If you want to type that in right now, it will go to this website, list it out. And the reason Amazon brands have been historically undervalued is because they create value and they compete with store name brands, and they create wealth and millions of retail dollars out of thin air. Now, obviously, I'm the first person to say this, and I've said this dozens of times. Selling on Amazon is not passive income. And this theme of this video that I'm trying to get to really is trying to go into the fact that when you sell on Amazon, you have to put forth a lot of effort, and it's going to go up. I predict that your competition is going to go up a lot this year on Amazon. Now, this isn't supposed to be like an alarmist video. It's just trying to educate that there is going to be an increase in competition, and what should you do about that? For the unsophisticated Amazon seller, maybe you have a full-time job and you created $1 million, $2 million brand. You're getting the 7 figures, but you also are struggling to keep up with all of the changes. Maybe the advertising has gotten too sophisticated for you. Maybe your catalog management and the template upload work is just too much, or maybe you're getting hit with things like the pesticides gating and you're in supplements and you have COA issues. Whatever it might be, your challenges are going up. Now, that's from an Amazon standpoint. Now, add to that the fact that you've got the Chinese pinching you from the left on pricing and the aggregators increasing your competition on the right. And it's kind of like a pincer, right? And so if you are an unsophisticated seller, it makes sense for you to sell this year. Now, I think if you hold on, your EBITDA is going to go up 40% this year. I'm extremely bullish on the fact that Amazon brands are going to become more valuable. But for those who cannot grow their brand this year and are struggling, it's a perfect time to exit the market. And so when I created this page, at the very top, I'm asking for some information from you if you would like to be introduced to an Amazon aggregator or a broker to help you sell your business. And the idea here is that because I have created 600 videos of content where I give out all of my information. In fact, today is the first time I've been over 1 million views on the lifetime of my channel, and the stats are getting better and better. So just in the last month alone, 82,900 views on my channel. So my hope is that I've built some credibility and some trust in the network of Amazon sellers. And if I have earned your trust and you are looking to sell, my hope is that you'll come to me to help you find the right partner to sell to. I obviously would prefer you hire me to grow your brand and your sales, and maybe you need to do both. Maybe you need to hire me first to grow your brand, to sell it, and get some things in order. But if you're ready, if you're at that edge and that precipice where you're like, right now, I'm not so sure about running this Amazon brand thing too much longer, then it's time to sell it. And every brand ever ends in a variety of ways, right? You either sell it to an investor, you give it to your employees, you pass it down to your family, or you go under, right? Like all businesses end one of those 4 ways. And so with that in mind, if this is the right time for you to sell your brand, I recommend you check out this page. And if you want my help picking the right players to get introduced to, you can get me your information right here. Now, maybe you don't want to involve me at all. Well, because I give all of my information out, you can scroll down and I've got direct links to every one of these aggregators that you can go check out on your very own. But I have started to network with all of these guys and have gotten to get to know them, or starting to get to know them in any case. I'm inviting them onto my podcast. I've got Thrasio coming onto my podcast sometime in the next week. I have many other big aggregators that will come onto my podcast, and you'll get to hear from them directly. And so that's kind of what I plan to spend a lot of my time doing here in the next couple of months, because I really do feel strongly that they are going to change the marketplace. We've seen that what happens over the years in varieties of different fields, when large capital comes in and they basically combine a bunch of businesses and aggregate them together, it really does change the market, and it will change how you will do business. And so with that in mind, because I have a little bit of information collected on these Amazon aggregators, I would know based on your brand information who is the best to go to. So I will figure out like how what's the best in your best interest, or what your brand would do better to get the best bang for the buck. Who's going to offer you the most money for your current circumstances? And so that's kind of the idea behind all of this. Now, I'm a visionary man. I don't get everything right, but I do predict and feel very strongly that we are going to see market forces this year. Now, most of these aggregators are fairly new. They don't have a lot of infrastructure built. Now, obviously, Thrasio is way ahead of these guys, right? So, like, Thrasio was first to market with this concept. Although I am on record 2 years ago predicting this. And me and a couple other people, Tyler Jeffcoat was one of them. He owns Seller Accountant, and we long thought that this was overdue, but it really wasn't until last year that we started to see some of this like come together. And now we're seeing it not only come together, but we're seeing it accelerate. And while most of these aggregators are just getting started, a strong majority of them, there are some that are farther along. And for the ones that are just getting started, they're eager, right? They just got a ton of cash flow, $150 million of cash, and they need to go execute acquisitions. And so because of that, the turnaround time for them to acquire is usually under 30 days. Now, if you want to try and go through a broker, we're also very strong friends with Quiet Light Brokerage, and I endorse them and recommend them, and I think they're a phenomenal broker to do this as well. But it just depends on what you're looking to do, right? An aggregator will most likely not require as much of your accounting and systems to be perfect, because they've got a lot of money and they know that if they make an offer, they're going to get enough of these deals correct where they're not going to have to do as much due diligence. Now, A brokerage is going to require significantly more due diligence, because what they're going to do is they're going to take your brand and go to market with a lot of it already pre-vetted. And then what hopefully happens for your brand, if you use a broker like Quiet Light Brokerage, is they will go head to head, and you might get some bidding. Most of the brands that are going to brokerage right now are turning in 30 days as well, but it does take a couple of months to prep the sale. So a little bit more prep, perhaps a better turnout. It just depends on what you're looking for. I will also have Quiet Light Brokerage coming onto my podcast to make the case on why you'd want to go through a brokerage versus go through and directly sell to an aggregator. So a lot of information is coming on this topic. I am also trying to pivot my business a little bit in this direction, because I believe that the aggregators are going to require a level of sophistication from agencies like my Amazon guy, where we're going to build like a mag elite offering to give them services. So I've been contacting the aggregators myself, pitching my Amazon guy services and saying, hey, look, you are going out there and buying dozens of these brands, and you may not have the infrastructure in place today to service them. So hire my Amazon guy, where we already have 160 accounts at my Amazon guy, and we have the ability to onboard, a chunk of your business, multiple accounts, and service them. So that's kind of why I am so vested in this. I'm just laying it straight all out so you can understand why I'm doing what I'm doing, but at the same time, trying to help you as the Amazon seller community, because I don't think it's me against other agencies. I don't think it's one Amazon seller against another Amazon seller. I think it's all of us collectively against Amazon. Amazon's the monopoly, and they're the ones that set the rules and the tone, and they're half the economy, right? So a lot of the information I share is to help you navigate some of these complex ecosystems, and at the same time, I see these market forces, and I feel very strongly that I want to share this information to help you navigate all of that. So I have a lot of other videos on Amazon aggregators and some of the information, the revenue that's being raised, and this is a playlist I think you should check out next if you're interested.